Hello and welcome.
Happy May 9th. We're doing it. We're going to seize the day.
Seize the day.
Because today is Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem?
Yeah, Carpe Diem.
What's a Carpe Diem?
It means seize the day.
Oh, okay.
I forget what language, maybe Latin?
Probably,
Carpe
yeah.
Diem. Diem means day, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Carpe means carp, like the fish.
How do you know this?
It doesn't mean carp like the fish. I know Carpe Diem because I think Clueless taught it to me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I think so. Clueless taught me a lot, actually. Because I remember seeing it when I was 5 or 6 or something, and it felt very adult, but it was also not boring. Like when you're 5 or 6, a lot of adult conversations or adult things seem very boring. This was an adult thing that seemed just glamorous and like I wanted to be like Cher.
It's like a chick's cult movie thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's a cult classic. I would say for sure.
Yeah, it's like weird to talk about it or even like Legally Blonde. Like it's so hard talking about it. Like no, like that's like a cult classic, but like kind of became that or something. Like it was like wait, this is like she's like when it came out, it was like kind of like oh well, she's clearly like a ditzy, like making fun of herself or something. But then it came over, like, in my eyes, then it was like this, like, what? This chick flick? This is like, what is this? This is stupid. Like, why would I ever watch this, right?
Did you see them?
No. Well, I saw them eventually, but not at, like, when it came out. Yeah. Because I was kind of like, what is this?
Right.
And then I saw it somewhere because it was like, oh, well, this is like, some girl was like, hey, this is classic. We got to go watch this, right? So I'm like, okay. And then... And all of a sudden, by the time we met or something, you're like, hey, can we watch this? And I was like, yeah, this is actually kind of like I don't want to admit
because they're great movies.
I don't want to admit
they're not
like,
stupid.
They're
fucking awesome. I mean, of all of those movies, like yes, that 10 Things I Hate About You, Never Been Kissed.
No, I'm not gonna go and for the record, I'm gonna just say
it's your favorite movie.
I have not click play on this thing, but when it's on, I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is, I get it's funny and it's kind of has its storylines and all of that stuff. So it's like a movie. It's like a very well made thing, right? So I appreciate that for sure. And funny.
It is funny.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem.
Seneca has a quote today. He says, "Let us therefore set out wholeheartedly, leaving aside our many distractions, and exert ourselves in this single purpose, before we realize too late the swift and unstoppable flight of time and are left behind. As each day rises, welcome it as the very best day of all, and make it your own possession. We must seize what flees."
Mm-hmm. We must seize what flees.
Oh, this is so I'm
that's a little too much for me, that last one. But I like the what was the sentence before then? As each day rises, welcome it as the best day. That is, I was literally thinking about that today. Like I want to be a person who I don't want to sound to others like everything is fantastic. Oh, it's what was the Ted Dancing was saying?
Heaven.
Oh, it's heaven. How's your day? Oh, it's heaven. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, I want to be like the person who looks at my day as like, wow, what a blessing or something. And blessing is maybe too like religious or something. But it's this even heaven is kind of that. But it's like a blessing that we like thank you for this day or something, or like what a cool. Amazing experience to be able to just be alive or something, or just be, like that feels very like I want to be the person who reminds myself this every morning, as well as remind myself about running into, some turtlenecks out there.
Yeah.
but just reminding myself, because that's a good reminder, like, hey, be careful that you might step into some doo-doo out there. But also the rest of it, when you're not stepping in the doo-doo, this is a freaking kick-ass situation,
Yeah.
right?
It's good to have the balancing thoughts.
And it does get away from us, like in the way, like it's constantly unveiling with these thoughts coming in and with these choices and with all of this stuff that we're observing. So all of this is constantly like unveiling, but as it unveils, it's going into, it's passing or something. That's
it's
as he's saying, fleeting. That's right. So it's like fleeting, and like seizing it means maybe like not like holding on to it. And this is why the seizing does sound weird to me, because it's kind of like you're gonna hold on to it, and that to me it's like maybe like feel it. Like move with it and feel, and that's the seizing of it. Like like I can feel it on my skin or something like that. Like these experiences that we have control and don't have control over or something. Yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting because I realized a few months back. But it had been a slow realization. Like I started realizing it even like maybe a year ago or something. And then a couple of months back, the realization started becoming more articulate, like more forward and more conscious. And the recognition was that I was sort of waking up in the morning, like just being like, oh, let's get this day over with. Let's get this day over with, and I would almost be looking forward to these landmarks in the day that represented the relief of having successfully gone through the day. Like, oh, when I get to like sit down on the couch after work or something like that and like rest my eyes, like that's what I'm looking forward to. And now every moment between now and that relief that I'm looking for is like, let's go. Like I don't even want to be present for it really.
Just
I
get it past
it.
me, just go like this and like, just get it past me as quickly as possible. And I love that. That's such a cool thing, because like my vision there was like this like these arms like being out here and like feeling the it's like almost being in like an ocean and feeling the wave, versus if you go like this, you feel it much less than when you're like this, right? And that's like kind of how I'm like, that was the
so like when I'm just trying to get through it, I'm like going in, and then when I'm seizing the moment, then it's more this openness.
You're like this. You're like I'm with it, and I'm not fighting it. Like I'm gonna stand and get pound with the wave. No, I'm gonna and go with the wave. And now I'm like, it's just this other. It's an enjoyment of that thing that's going by us,
right? Versus
this kind of like I hate this, and therefore I'm not enjoying it. Therefore, I want it to go fast.
Yeah.
And also, I want to forget.
I want to forget
it, because this is not the pleasant thing that I enjoy.
And
it could be if we.
You have to change your right.
Try to feel even those little moments. All of a sudden, it might become more enjoyable. Actually.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. And then it's all good. And then what I think what ultimately started this contemplation for me, and this realization, was when Sundays were starting to feel really, really bad. Because, ever since I started like the 9 to 5 realm, it was like this mad dash through the week. And then Saturday and Sunday were like this recuperation period.
Shut down.
That I wasn't even enjoying.
Yeah.
And I was actually just dreading the coming of Monday. But this would happen Not like you're like, oh, Sunday's scary, so Sunday night sucks. It's like, no, Sunday scaries start literally Friday afternoon when I wrap up shop and I look at my calendar for the next week and I'm like, fuck, this is what Monday is like. This is what Monday looks like. Or like, crap, how am I gonna have this conversation with this person? Or like, oh, I don't know what to do about this thing. And then now Friday afternoon, the whole weekend is in this state of just, oh, just get me through it. Just get me through it. Just let me sleep. Just get me through it. Just, ugh. And now my whole life, it's just like you wake up I wake up, let me not say you, I would wake up in the morning and feel this, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. Hurry up. Let's just get through this type of thing.
Anxiety from it and for sure.
It's gotten a lot better in the last, changing jobs for sure 100% helped. And then doing stuff like this has been really helpful too.
Yeah, it's good to know that there's some ebb and flow through it. It's not this forever. Even though we go through anxieties and these depressions and these moments of like tough going, it's good to hear that it's like you went through something and then you see yourself coming out of it somehow on the other end, hopefully stronger for the next round of fun unveiling of reality.
when life gets hard again,
Yep.
That's when I want to be able to wake up in the morning with this of like, this could be the very best day of all somehow.
For some reason, I want to say it's like it feels so not easy to go through those. Like I don't want to say hard, but like hard is something, but like maybe it's not hard. It's just so not easy. Like it just feels so like, because hard is like, oh my God, I have to be like lifting some weight. It is a psychological weight in theory that we're lifting. That's why it's feeling so uncomfortable and so like but it's like having those little sparkles of reminders that through the bad times that there are these things happen in cycles and there is no such thing as forever. Therefore, what, couple months, couple years, maybe, but then it will somehow shift.
And during those couple months or couple years, like I need to still take responsibility for participating in the situation in a way that's going to make things better for me overall. And as much as I don't want to stomach that truth, it's just
let me not go like this.
Yeah, it's
still,
like
even though
I want to go like that.
There might be the reaction for some time, for those months or sometimes years that you're like this, but ultimately at some point you're like, God damn, like I'm gonna have to freaking just go like this first, maybe, just to try to feel it again and just try to get to some sort of a different view on it all or something.
Because my problems are never as bad as I think they are. So much of the problem is the psychological crap I put on top of a circumstance. I was even noticing that this week when my thumb was hurting. When I really paid attention to the sensations in my finger, it was very manageable. But then I would have this anxiety. It was like the pain in the thumb went into my belly and I had this like really anxious, like wanting to crawl out of my skin type of feeling. And I had all these thoughts about it too, like, ugh. And it was actually that was the most painful aspect of it. And I was like, well, what if I didn't... The anxiety and the thoughts on top of it. And I was like, well what...
Okay.
You're bundling it all together. Yeah, exactly.
The thoughts create the anxiety.
Yeah, so the anxiety.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, the anxiety is the part of this that's not necessary at all. I can actually do something about the fact that my thumb is in pain. Actually, yes, I can. I want to sit here and tell myself that I can't. But really, I can use it in a different way right now. I can take ibuprofen. I can look at how did this happen and like what would I need to do.
Do some analytical work to figure out what you can do better.
Differently.
Yeah.
And so this was just like a small example of how the thoughts about a situation are actually the part of it that make the situation unbearable.
And the anxiety really, if like when we were talking about like how like these thoughts cause this anxiety, right? Like once the anxiety is there, that is almost like a reminder, or like a kind of a, not error check, but like some sort of a checkpoint that you can say, oh, these thoughts, they came in, I didn't go through the choicing. It just this thought came of like, oh, this sucks. Anxiety. I accepted it.
Yes.
And because I accepted it on some level, now I'm feeling this anxiety. Oh, this sucks. And now that might spark that pattern of recalling more of those similar thoughts of. Now you're reminding yourself how this felt back then, and you kind of go through like a feedback loop. You're going through like a little trauma essentially throughout that time. So, yeah, I hear you.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's see what flavor Ryan has about this. Okay, he says, "You will only get one shot at today. You only have 24 hours with which to take it. And then it is gone and lost forever. Will you fully inhabit all of it today? Will you call out, 'I've got this,' and do your very best to be your very best? What will you manage to make of today before it slips from your fingers and becomes the past? When someone asks you what you did yesterday, do you really want the answer to be, 'Nothing'?
No, you wanna essentially say like, I lived my best day yesterday, but you know what? I don't even want to talk to you about this because I want to live the best day right now.
Right.
And so me talking about what happened yesterday is kind of adding into potentiality of me not having the best day at the end of this one, right? But I'm just being silly. But it's interesting that he's looking at it as a day, like you have 24 hours. Like it's so interesting that this, I get it, sun rises, sunsets, you know, there's some
rhythm, pattern?
What do you call them?
Cycle?
Not a rhythm, but it's the sleeping.
Circadian
rhythm. And so this exists, right? So we are somehow aligned onto some sort of a cycle of some moon, something, let's just say a day. And so it's so easy to say this day will be that. But what is today? When does it start? When is it good? Like at noon or 1 o'clock? Like I would look at it and say like, well, let's even maybe say like, don't even think about it like an hour, day, or a second, or none of these measurements, but more of this like it's constantly ongoing, unveiling, and then it's always new. All of this is new and we can say yes, these seconds are passing, and we can kind of measure it, or kind of say that this is passing, but there is no interval. It's a kind of a flow almost. And now I want to look at it like, oh, I want to enjoy that flow all day long. If I have to translate it into this day long thing, but AKA always.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Maybe the daily thing
that might not be possible.
Yeah.
But always.
Yeah. Maybe the daily thing is like a tempo at which you remind yourself of this sort of thing, because
yes,
it can be easy to forget.
Yes, I love that, because that's the reminder. New cycle is starting. Therefore, reminding ourselves in the morning. Turtlenecks running into. Hey, let's enjoy this flow of today.
Yeah.
As much as like those reminders are per day. I like that. But how was my day or something like that? That's kind of like that's silly to. Well, it's I'm not saying don't analyze it, because that's also a valid thing to go look at your
A
past
retrospective,
and learn from it and maybe change your behavior or whatever. Like that's very, very important to do. So
on different time intervals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
the weekly, the monthly, the quarterly, the yearly.
But you might start with minute to 5 minutes to half an hour to an hour. You can go more granular.
You can go as granular
as to I just feel it always now. There is no. I put those measurements so close that there is like it feel. I'm not saying that there is no one after another or something. But it becomes almost like it is a continuous.
Yeah, because we're always.
It is a continuous. There is no there are no spaces of nothing between it.
Right.
It is a continuous thing for sure.
Yeah.
As much as how much we want to break it down to.
We're always moving away from who we just were 1 second ago, and moving towards what we're going to be 1 second from now. And like this is continuously moving with us as we move through life, is like this moving out of who we've just been and into the person we're gonna be, and out of who we've just been.
And where we are is this now, right? Kind of
now is this balance of all of like the past going into the future, and there's like this one little balance spot right here that is the present now. And this is the thing that is continuous. It's actually the only thing that's been continuous.
That's the
my
only
entire
thing
life
has been continuous. This
is what he's saying. When I am enjoying it, I'm actually not thinking about who I just was in a critical way, nor am I thinking about who I'm going to be in a critical way. I'm relaxed and at peace with
now in this
where
place.
I am right now, and I'm using good processing, like good computing processing in my brain to make good choices.
Yeah, because that now almost seems like we can say that it's moving, or it's the ultimate constant that's not moving.
Sure.
Right. So you can go. It's like a paradox, right? Something with that, like being in that place is kind of if we look at it as it's moving, then these new things are coming into it, and then therefore I'm relaxed I want to be relaxed to be able to make new choices I'm ready to what's coming. I want to be able to make choices.
I'm relaxed with the uncertainty of I don't know what's coming.
I don't know what's coming. Yeah.
And I also trust myself to handle that uncertainty when that certainty changes from uncertainty to certainty. Like now the potentiality has turned into an actuality. I trust myself to handle that and make good choices with it. And now I can just be relaxed and moving with it and not trying to outpace it, outrun it. That's what I think I was doing when I was like,
slow it down being more in the past.
Right, to slow it down. Like, oh my God, like my kid is at a good age right now, and I'm just not going to be able to handle it when they go forward. Or there are those sweet times in life where you're just like, oh, like why can't it always be like this? And like even that is a crippling point of view to be in. Like
there's this letting go almost like when it's like it makes me feel like when we have that feeling of like, oh, why can't it stay like this? That's also like a reminder, like, oh shoot, I've been holding on to this too. I said I will be here and things will not change. And now it's like slipping from your hands, and you're like, oh, it is changing. I cannot hold on to it. Like that's the same thing. That's what creates this like a first sad, but then also maybe like a sweet, like we were saying, kind of like, oh, like yeah, I can't, like I have to let things go so they can go and grow on their own way, and I'm letting it unveil the way it's unveiling. I'm not trying to hold it, control it, stop it, hold on to it, just feeling it maybe more. Maybe that's what the whole thing is.
Yeah,
like the
because
feeling.
then you can actually enjoy those sweet moments
Yeah.
rather than there's sometimes that kind of crippling fear that happens in the sweet moments because you're like, man, I don't want this to go away.
Yeah.
And now when I think I don't want this to go away, I'm actually sitting here not enjoying it and at the same time giving myself this guilt trip about, well, you know this is going away, so you better start enjoying it. What's wrong with you? You can't enjoy this? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want it to go away.
Yeah,
Like, this is actually
layers,
the internal
layers of-
experience. And it's just like, all right, well, I can't enjoy the good moments and I can't stomach the bad moments. So, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's like they're both symptoms of the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're both.
Is trying to really hard living in this future state and imagining what's coming, and hopefully that aligns with how I'm imagining it, and then we go from well, how do I predict this future state? Well, from what I learned in the past. So now we're going into this past analytical, what happened, how it happened, da 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 da, and then we starts believing into how it happened. But it only happened that way from our perspective at that time, and we have so little information. And now we're taking that and saying, based on that, I'm going to make all these decisions now for this imaginary future that's going to align exactly how I want it. If we're using this system, I think that's where it feels like shit. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like that should be the thing how you should use it, because it's like, well, that makes sense. We got to analyze and then make it and bring on some futures. Yes, planning and project managing life is a good tool, but living through this tool is not the right thing. It's like there is this other thing that's happening. Is these choices, these things that we hold on. I don't know what actually happened. I have very limited information what actually happened in the past. And therefore, how the heck am I making all of these choices, this hardcore, this has to happen now like this, so the future can be looking like that. How do I do that based on this little information? So I have not done deep enough analysis onto how this whole thing works until now, where I see that, holy cow, this is not a good system. I'm using 10% from here to make 100% choices today for some future that is barely going to happen 1% at a time that way. Like, this is bad decisions, right? So what is the better way to do it? Maybe, and I don't know, is this like feel it more in the nowish, and like don't go so far in the future. Use the past, but don't be so just only in it. Be in it, use it as a tool, and to bring you here and to be in this thing. This is a speculative thing. It's not it is kind of happening that way, but it's also like hard to talk. Like it gets to that point where it's like hard to describe things after that or something, you know. But it feels great. It's all like feels good to I may have stumbled upon something like that. It feels like a discovery. It's got to be more in this place and enjoying this thing, because this is where everything happens. And then so we don't feel this I lost all this time because I wasn't here, I was in these other worlds. Yeah,
It's never too late.
never too late to start.
All right. Thank you for joining. See you tomorrow.